begins in the heart of Utah's Uinta Basin, a land both vast and haunting. At first glance, Skinwalker Ranch seems ordinary. 512 acres of rolling plains, scrubland, and mesas. But the ground here is said to be cursed, touched by an ancient darkness that predates the first settlers. Its name comes from the Navajo legend of the Skinwalker, or Yinaldlushi, a powerful witch who gains supernatural abilities through the unthinkable act of murdering a family member. This dark folklore hints at the malevolent forces that, according to local legend, still linger on the property. Long before UFOs or high-tech investigations, the Uinta Basin was known for strange lights and inexplicable happenings. Reports of glowing orbs, silent crafts, and mysterious phenomena surfaced as early as the 1950s, attracting the attention of locals, ranchers, and law enforcement. Yet it wasn't until decades later that a single ranch would become the epicenter of the unexplained, earning the ominous title of the UFO Ranch. The land's sinister reputation is entwined with the Ute and Navajo histories. Some accounts suggest that after conflicts with settlers, a curse was placed on the area, leaving it vulnerable to paranormal disturbances. Over time, tales of unexplainable events, animals disappearing, eerie lights in the sky, and shadows that moved against the wind added to its growing mystique. By the 1970s, the Uinta Basin had become one of America's most active UFO hotspots, yet Skinwalker Ranch stood out. It was a place where folklore met reality, where legends of shapeshifting witches intersected with reports of modern phenomena that defied explanation. The stage was set for a story that would span decades, drawing in ranchers, billionaires, scientists, and government agencies, all eager to confront whatever haunted this enigmatic land. The curse, it seemed, was awakening, and the world had yet to see its full scope. In 1994, Skinwalker Ranch passed into the hands of Terry and Gwen Sherman, a family of experienced cattle ranchers seeking a quiet life in Utah's Uinta Basin. They bought the 512-acre property unaware that they were stepping onto land steeped in legend and danger. Almost immediately, the Shermans noticed things that defied logic. One morning, Terry spotted a massive wolf-like creature near the calf pen. It was easily over 200 pounds, with fur that shimmered red and gray in the sunlight, and eyes that seemed unnervingly intelligent. Despite multiple shots fired with a .357 Magnum and a high-powered rifle, the creature did not behave as any normal predator would. It simply stood, seemingly uninjured, before disappearing without a trace, leaving behind enormous tracks that abruptly ended in the soft soil. This was only the beginning. Strange lights appeared in the sky almost nightly, glowing orbs that hovered silently above the ranch, sometimes moving in patterns that suggested intelligence. The Shermans reported objects that resembled small refrigerators or large triangles, floating low over their pastures before accelerating out of sight at impossible speeds. The phenomena were relentless, impossible to predict, and terrifying in their intensity. Even the ranch animals were not spared. Several cattle suffered mysterious injuries that baffled veterinarians. Eyes removed cleanly, organs missing without a single drop of blood, and large bulls vanishing entirely. In some cases, tracks would lead into open fields, only to stop abruptly, as if the creatures themselves had been erased from the earth. The uncanny occurrences spilled into their home. Objects shifted on their own, tools disappeared from locked rooms, only to reappear elsewhere, and shadowy figures loomed just outside windows. Disembodied voices spoke in languages that no one could identify, and some family members reported feeling an overwhelming sense of being watched. After just 22 months of escalating terror, the Shermans were broken. Their dream ranch had become a place of relentless psychological warfare. Desperate for escape, they put the property up for sale, and their story caught the attention of journalist George Knapp. What he uncovered would draw a man with the resources and curiosity to take on the ranch's mysteries like no one before. The Shermans had unknowingly opened the first chapter of a saga that would merge folklore, science, and government intrigue, bringing the world face to face with one of the most puzzling paranormal sites in America. By 1996, the story of Skinwalker Ranch had reached the ears of Robert Bigelow, a Las Vegas billionaire with a long-standing fascination for the paranormal. Unlike most, Bigelow didn't dismiss the Shermans' experiences as folklore or exaggeration. For him, the ranch represented an unprecedented opportunity, a chance to apply rigorous scientific investigation to a place that defied explanation. Bigelow purchased the 512-acre property for roughly $200,000 and founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS. He assembled a team of experts spanning biology, physics, and engineering, including biochemist Dr. Colm Kelleher, to systematically study the ranch. Their approach was comprehensive and unprecedented. The land would be monitored around the clock with infrared cameras, magnetometers, motion sensors, and radio frequency analyzers, all feeding data to a central command hub. Over nearly 8 years, the NIID's team documented more than 100 distinct incidents, each more perplexing than the last. Equipment malfunctioned in ways that could not be explained by known causes. In one particularly chilling episode, a sealed camera box mounted high on a pole was found with its internal wiring violently torn apart. Yet the casing showed no signs of tampering, and footage revealed nothing unusual. Team members themselves experienced phenomena that blurred the line between observer and observed. Dr. Kelleher once reported seeing a massive humanoid figure perched in a tree near the command center. Through a rifle scope, he watched it for several moments. Yet when he looked again with the naked eye, it was gone. Below, a triangular footprint remained, impossibly large and sharply defined, hinting at the presence of an intelligence beyond human comprehension. Even the ranch's animals continued to suffer strange fates. Calves tagged healthy were later found dismembered in ways that appeared surgical, with no trace of blood or struggle. These events compounded the mystery, challenging the team to reconcile their scientific methods with occurrences that seemed to operate outside the known laws of physics. Despite their dedication, NIDS was unable to capture a single definitive piece of evidence. No film, no object, no anomaly that could irrefutably prove the ranch's paranormal nature. Yet what they did gather, magnetic distortions, unexplained phenomena, and first-hand encounters, painted a picture of a location that was alive with an intelligence that appeared to observe, react, and evade. For Bigelow and his team, Skinwalker Ranch was no longer just a plot of cursed land. It had become a laboratory of the unknown, a place where science confronted the limits of reality itself, setting the stage for a far-reaching investigation that would soon draw the attention of the United States government. By the mid-2000s, Skinwalker Ranch had become more than just a subject of billionaire-funded research. It had drawn the attention of the United States government. The National Institute for Discovery Science's findings, while inconclusive in terms of hard proof, were compelling enough to pique the interest of Defense Intelligence Agency officials. One officer, after reviewing accounts from NIDS and visiting the ranch himself, reportedly became convinced that the property could pose a potential national security concern. This led to an unusual chain of events. Through political connections, then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid helped secure approximately $22 million in funding for a clandestine program known as the Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program, or AAW-SAP. While the public narrative framed it as research into advanced aerospace technologies, the covert mission focused heavily on unidentified aerial phenomena, the government's new terminology for UFOs. Skinwalker Ranch became one of the central testing grounds. From roughly 2008 to 2013, Bigelow's company, Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, BASS, ran this government-funded program on site. The team combined previous NIDS protocols with Pentagon-backed resources, expanding both the scale and intensity of the investigation. Surveillance was upgraded, including night vision cameras, thermal imaging, and highly sensitive electromagnetic detectors. During this period, personnel reported new anomalies. Lights and craft were observed performing maneuvers that defied conventional aerodynamics. Some incidents involved UAPs reacting to the investigators' presence, moving in ways that suggested intelligence. There were also accounts of unexplained physical effects, localized power surges, temporary instrument failures, and sudden severe interference with GPS devices. Despite the advanced technology and significant resources, the phenomena continued to elude definitive capture. Yet the mere fact that the Department of Defense invested millions and assigned top-level oversight lent unprecedented credibility to the claims. The ranch was no longer just a hotspot for folklore enthusiasts or billionaire curiosity. It had entered the realm of serious scientific and military consideration. By the time the government program concluded, the mystery had deepened, rather than resolved. Even those with the means to conduct systematic high-tech investigations were confronted with a reality that refused to conform to known science. Skinwalker Ranch had transformed from a cursed legend to a controlled experiment in the inexplicable, setting the stage for a new era of transparency and investigation under its next custodian. In 2016, Skinwalker Ranch entered a new chapter under the ownership of Brandon Fugal, a Utah real estate magnate. Unlike his predecessor, Fugal approached the property with skepticism, initially dismissing the stories as local legend and exaggeration. But a private, extensive meeting with Robert Bigelow changed everything. Bigelow shared detailed logs, video records, and first-hand accounts from the NIDIAS and BASS teams. Data that convinced Fugal the ranch was more than folklore. Seeing the potential for both investigation and transparency, Fugal purchased the 512-acre property, reportedly for $500,000, with a vision that differed sharply from the secretive methods of previous research. He positioned himself not just as an owner, but as a custodian of the ranch, intent on continuing the work of studying its anomalies while making the process accessible to the public. Fugal immediately assembled a new team of investigators, scientists, and technical experts. Their approach combined advanced technology with investigative rigor. Ground-penetrating radar was deployed to map subterranean structures beneath the mesa. High-frequency sensors monitored electromagnetic fields. Researchers introduced drones equipped with specialized cameras and GPS tracking to explore the sky above the ranch in unprecedented detail. The goal was clear: to observe, record, and understand the phenomena while keeping the work visible. Unlike prior investigations shrouded in secrecy, Fugal's methods allowed for media coverage, scientific scrutiny, and public engagement. The ranch was no longer an isolated laboratory, but a bridge between scientific curiosity, governmental interest, and popular fascination with the unexplained. Under Fugal's stewardship, Skinwalker Ranch evolved from a place defined by fear and secrecy into a structured field laboratory. Yet the land continued to resist easy explanations. Objects moved inexplicably, anomalous readings persisted, and the phenomena sometimes extended beyond the ranch itself, following team members into the wider world. It was becoming clear that Skinwalker Ranch was not just a location. It was an active, enigmatic force, challenging the very limits of observation and comprehension. In 2020, Skinwalker Ranch stepped into the spotlight with the premiere of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel. For the first time, the public could witness the investigations firsthand, following Brandon Fugal and his carefully selected team as they conducted experiments previously confined to secrecy. Among the investigators were astrophysicist Dr. Travis Taylor and principal investigator Eric Bard, both bringing scientific expertise to the unfolding mystery. The team employed innovative methods to probe the ranch's anomalies. Rockets were launched to gather aerial data, while ground-penetrating radar mapped previously unknown subterranean features beneath the mesa. Advanced drilling revealed materials that resisted industrial-grade bits, including unusual metallic filings that baffled geologists. High-tech sensors recorded persistent electromagnetic fluctuations, and GPS-equipped drones frequently malfunction in specific anomalous zones, dropping inexplicably from the sky. The show also highlighted a phenomenon referred to as the hitchhiker effect. Team members and visitors reported experiencing paranormal activity in their own homes, sometimes hundreds of miles from the ranch, shortly after their time on site. Objects moved on their own, strange lights were observed, and unsettling sounds were reported, suggesting that the phenomena were not confined to the land but could somehow attach themselves to individuals. In addition, the team detected invisible energy fields hovering over the main homestead, including what appeared to be a massive dome-shaped structure. Radiation and magnetic readings often spiked in correlation with observed anomalies. Some events defied explanation entirely, such as equipment being damaged despite no obvious cause, and sudden disturbances in areas that had been previously stable. The History Channel series provided the world with an unprecedented look at a location long shrouded in secrecy. Yet even with cameras rolling and high-tech equipment deployed, the ranch continued to defy understanding. The combination of visual documentation, sensor data, and personal testimony created a compelling, unsettling narrative. Skinwalker Ranch was not simply haunted folklore. It was an active, anomalous environment, one that challenged the boundaries of science and the imagination alike. The investigation at Skinwalker Ranch has continued to evolve, pushing the boundaries of what is known about the paranormal. By 2025, the History Channel's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch had reached its 6th season, documenting new UAP sightings, strange materials recovered from the mesa, and unexplained electromagnetic surges. Brandon Fogel confirmed that a 7th season was in production, slated for 2026, ensuring that the story and the phenomena remain in the public eye. The team has reported increasingly puzzling incidents. Advanced drones, when flown into specific areas of the ranch, sometimes lose all power simultaneously, as if an invisible force were selectively disabling technology. Ground-penetrating radar continues to reveal anomalous cavities deep beneath the mesa, some containing materials that resist modern tools and analysis. These discoveries suggest that Skinwalker Ranch is not merely a surface-level hotspot, but a layered environment with hidden structures and phenomena. Observers have also noted that the ranch's anomalies occasionally extend beyond its borders. Personnel have experienced sudden, unexplained illnesses or psychological stress after certain high-energy events on the property. Some researchers have reported sensations of being watched, sleep disturbances, and lingering effects long after leaving the ranch. While many of these claims are anecdotal, they paint a picture of a place where the rules of cause and effect seem to bend. The global context of UAP research has added new significance to the ranch. Governments worldwide, including the U.S. Department of Defense's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, have begun acknowledging the existence of phenomena that challenge conventional understanding. Data collected at Skinwalker Ranch, once dismissed as fringe or folklore, is now part of broader discussions about aerial anomalies, unexplained energy signatures, and the limits of human perception. Yet, even with high-tech monitoring, expert teams, and government interest, no definitive explanation has emerged. The phenomena continue to defy categorization, demonstrating intelligence, selectivity, and persistence. Skinwalker Ranch remains a living mystery, one that questions the very nature of reality and challenges anyone who enters its boundaries to confront forces that are both unseen and profoundly unsettling. After decades of observation, investigation, and high-tech monitoring, Skinwalker Ranch remains a puzzle without a definitive solution. Experts, skeptics, and enthusiasts continue to debate what might be occurring on this 512-acre stretch of Utah's Uinta Basin, but no single explanation fits all the evidence. One prominent idea is the paranormal or extraterrestrial theory. Proponents suggest that the ranch could be a portal to another dimension or a focal point for interdimensional entities. UFO sightings, skinwalker legends, and strange humanoid figures could all be manifestations of a single underlying phenomenon. Even the Pentagon's interest lends weight to the idea that something genuinely anomalous is taking place. Skeptics, however, argue for a more grounded perspective. They note that prior owners of the ranch, including families who lived there for decades, reported no unusual activity. Despite millions of dollars spent on research, no peer-reviewed scientific proof has confirmed paranormal claims. Some critics even suggest that sensationalized accounts, such as those told by the Sherman family, might have influenced wealthy buyers and investigators eager for extraordinary stories. Another explanation lies in geology and natural science. The Uinta Basin sits atop a complex landscape of tectonic faults and unusual rock formations. Some scientists propose that seismic stress could create electromagnetic phenomena known as piezoelectric effects, producing lights, interference with electronics, and even hallucination-like experiences. While this theory explains certain phenomena, it struggles to account for incidents that show apparent intelligence or precise manipulation. Finally, there is the cultural and psychological perspective. The power of folklore and expectation may play a role in shaping experiences at the ranch. When people enter a location steeped in legend, ambiguous events, shadows, sounds, and unexplained lights can be interpreted as something far more sinister, reinforcing the mythos of Skinwalker Ranch. No matter the perspective, one fact remains undeniable. The ranch continues to defy easy answers. From ancient curses and Navajo legends to cutting-edge scientific studies and Pentagon investigations, Skinwalker Ranch exists at the intersection of history, folklore, and the unknown. It challenges our understanding of reality, suggesting that there may be forces in the world that we cannot yet measure, control, or fully comprehend. For decades, the secret of Skinwalker Ranch has persisted, proving that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be experienced, studied, and respected. Whether a portal, a curse, or a natural anomaly beyond current science, it stands as America's most enigmatic and terrifying hotspot, a place where the unimaginable is undeniably real.